Hey, Giant fans. Welcome to the Giant Insider Podcast. My name's Jerry Foley. I am the senior editor of the Giant Insider newspaper, and with me, as always, is the beat writer and the heart of Giants Nation. Nobody beats the biz, Chris Bisignano. Chris, before we get started, I want to thank our sponsor, Fitzpatrick's Crest Tavern, located at 9600 Pacific Avenue in Diamond Beach, just between Wildwood Crest and Cape May. They have 18 widescreen TVs, the NFL Sunday Ticket, and awesome appetizers like my personal favorite, the Mardi Gras shrimp, as well as a host of other appetizers and meals as well. So if you find yourself vacationing on the South Jersey Shore, head over to Fitzpatrick's Crest Tavern and tell the owner, Sam, that the Giant Insider sent me. That's Fitzpatrick's Crest Tavern, 9600 Pacific Avenue in Diamond Beach, just between Wildwood Crest and Cape May, the best shuck in town. Chris, there are certain teams in this league that just own others. It's in sports, really. It sometimes makes no sense. It's almost like you can start anyone. You could start a high school team and they would give them a tough time. And lo and behold, Don Bosco's own Tommy DeVito, the pride of New Jersey, with the help of 6 turnovers as well. Yes. But Tommy DeVito comes in and, the Giants beat the Commanders, as they always do, it seems, 31-19. It's a hell of a story. I know a lot of fans are rooting for the tank, but to be honest with you, once that game starts, Chris, I'm a buffoon. I'm rooting for the Giants. So it's a nice story. It's a feel-good Monday. It is what it is. I know probably 25% of the fan base is pissed off. Whatever, guys. Have at it. But today is Tommy DeVito's day to shine, and it's a nice story, man. It really is.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the Giants of Washington. I had some friends text me in the morning. They like to, play some bets on games, and a couple of them asked me, what do you think? DeVito should I lay to 7.5 or 8.5, whatever it was, right? Mm-hmm. All I responded was, "Well, it's Giants Washington. It's usually close. Good luck. Good luck laying the points.
Right.
No matter who's a quarterback, as we saw yesterday, right? As it turned out, doesn't matter really who's a quarterback. Those two teams usually is pretty close, somewhat close. Yesterday Giants won by 12, but the pick six and all that, but it was close. Washington had the ball in their hands, trying to get the game-winning touchdown, and then a pick six. But it's amazing when they play Washington. No way I would lay those points, and no way would I bet against the Giants. Period. Against Washington, they just seemed to really play well against them all the time. So
Mike Evensky, who writes for the Insider, said that he was one of 10 left in a knockout pool, and 4 people chose Washington, which I think is insane. But yeah. So
I just think I get it in a way. I guess, right, Jerry DeVito and all that, but
yeah.
When those two teams meet, I would just lay off it. I wouldn't even go near it because it's usually a very tight game. The Giants have had the better of them over the last, in the last 7 years or how it's been. It seems like they beat them all the time.
Well, it was funny. It was funny because every stat that went back, like most touchdowns since Washington 2019, or most this since Washington 2014. I was like, oh wow, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
It's amazing, right? It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like you said, just some teams when they meet. Doesn't matter what their records are, what the hell's going on. Not that Washington had a good record, but what the hell's going on? One team's probably going to beat them, or at least be real close.
Yeah.
And that's what we saw again yesterday, and the Giants getting 6 takeaways. Incredible. I got to be honest with you, Jerry, 6 takeaways. And Washington still had the ball in their hands.
I was going to ask you that.
To win the game,
I was going to ask you that. Like, that's gotta, like, when's the last time why was that? Was it because we were sacked 9 times? Like, I'm trying to come up with the numbers that make this make sense. And it didn't. 6 takeaways, and Washington still could have won the game.
Yeah, they had the ball in their hands, right? I mean, trying to go in for the winning touchdown.
Yeah.
And the Giants got 17 points off the turnovers, but the one drive that got Washington back in the game, the big offsides, they stopped them on 4th down, but Jihad Ward's offsides, and then the Kayvon personal foul, and then and then Tate Banks loses his guy in the end zone, and next thing you know, they're in a game, and then you got to get some first downs after that. They couldn't. Washington, but it was amazing that it was still. But 6 takeaways is incredible.
Yeah,
the defense and coming up with 5 of them. I mistakenly put at one time, I think 4 of them or something. 4 takeaways by the defense, and Lawrence Tynes immediately tweeted at me, "Hey, Chris, don't forget special teams was one of them." Oh, sorry, hey, I tell you,
that's right.
Was one of them.
That's great. Yeah.
So Lawrence is always favors his special teams. That. So he wasn't gonna let me get away with that, baby. And he was right. I corrected myself, and so Look, they could have had more. I mean, Pinnock right in his chest, one of them,
Easy.
So it was a wild one in Washington. The Giants get their third win. I know a lot of people. I saw the tweets during the game. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing? You got to lose this game. I hope they fumble. I hope they turn it over. I hope Washington scores here. All that stuff. But hey, look, said it a million times. These guys go out to play the game. They'll win the game. They go out to win the game. And nobody's tanking. The ridiculous notion of Dable lost the locker room. The asinine crap about divided locker room because a couple of guys have arguments on the sidelines or they're trying to pull each other down. Yeah. It's all ridiculous, and I thought Dable and Kafka called a great game yesterday. I thought they had a lot of great schemes against Washington.
Whoa, wait. Before I forget, oh my God, Chris, we saw something yesterday that you've been talking about for, I don't know, 9 years, 3 years, whatever it's been. The wheel route. Holy crap. And they run it with DeVito. Oh my God. Like
executed to perfection.
There it is. Sorry. I should have let off with that.
And it was funny because, Saquon said in the locker room after the game, he goes, I know you guys saw this all training camp, with the wheel route, and he's been asking for it. And I tell you what, that was a hell of a throw by DeVito, man. He got that in that window on that wheel.
Chris, he throws a really nice ball. I think you said it in training camp.
Yeah, he did. His kid's got a rocket arm, man. He could zip it. He could wing it, man. Yeah. And that throw to Saquon and that wheel, Cameron Curl looked like he was coming over. He was closing that window, and DeVito zipped it right in there, man. So I guess we have to start off talking about yesterday's game about what? The Paisan, Tommy DeVito, right? We have to talk about him.
Tommy Chicken Cutlets DeVito, baby.
With vodka sauce on it, so I'm not going with that. That must be a North Jersey thing. I don't know what the hell that is. But anyway, let's look at DeVito. What's the biggest thing he did yesterday, Jerry?
He didn't turn the ball over for me.
Turn the ball over.
Yeah.
He could look, Jerry, so many young guys. You saw yesterday with Howell. Just winging it up there, But DeVito, look, did he take off too many times? Did he try to get out of there too fast at times? Yeah, no question about it. Washington, I thought, did a hell of a job in their rush lanes a lot of times, but DeVito couldn't get the hell out of there, so he took the sack. But dude, I get it. 9 sacks, probably about 5 of them on DeVito.
I was going to ask you that. I thought a lot of them were on him. Yeah.
Yeah, he was getting hit, and a lot of them on him. Don't get me wrong. He has to, like Dable told us today in the Zoom, he's got to clean up some things. That's one of them. But the kid didn't try to force anything, Jerry. He didn't just wing it up there with the pressure when the pocket was collapsing. He'll try to force balls and windows. No turnovers. You saw Sam Howell yesterday, even the last pick 6 by Isaiah Simmons. He tried to get, I think it was Brian Robinson. He just tried to wing it up in the flat there to Robinson. And they're on the broadcast. On the broadcast saying, "Oh, I think he's trying to throw it away." No, he wasn't. I was looking at it 1,000 times. He was trying to get that to Robinson, and Isaiah, it was he was hit, whatever the hell it was, and Isaiah just waited for it. It was a floater that Isaiah came down with and went the other way. Yeah, just stupid football. I mean, Howell, you saw that. Yeah, you saw that numerous times with him. Yeah, he was making the mistakes that DeVito should have been doing. So credit to DeVito for not making stupid mistakes. And even when he was sacked and hit, no fumbles.
Held the ball. Yeah.
It's just, so he took the sack. I know a lot of times he took sacks where you got to get rid of it. Get rid of the ball, Tommy. Launch it out of there. Whatever the hell you got to do. Right. But the same old story too, Jerry. When you take the sack, you live for another play. Or it's not a turnover. At least you could punt, set up field position and all that. Because when you turn, you throw in interceptions, now you're giving teams, possible field position, a possible pick 6, whatever the hell it might be. So he didn't do that. To his credit, DeVito did not do that. And look, I thought Dable and Kafka were very aggressive with him. They looked at Washington and said, we're going to take shots on these guys. And they did, and I thought there was some great schemes. Obviously with the wheel with Saquon and then that little flare route when he came out of the backfield.
That was a perfect throw. That was a very underrated throw.
Yeah. And then, the one to Slayton, he stood in the pocket, waited for it to develop. Slayton got the one-on-one. He got wide open, put a little move on follow. That was the end of that. I thought Bellinger out of the H-back, coming out, sliding out. So a lot of great things they did offensively against, a Washington team's not very good defensively, especially their back end. But still, he's a rookie, second career start. I thought he did a lot of good things, man.
It's amazing how fast Slayton is when he gets the ball in his hands. I didn't want to forget that point. Like, it's just, you got to get the ball in his hands, man. Like, one move he makes and he's in the end zone. Like, oh my God, like he's almost sneaky fast. It's methodical or something. It's weird. But yeah, dude, I mean, DeVito, what a story. His rating was 137 or something. I was going to joke before and say, yeah, he didn't want to throw the ball away because he didn't want to screw up his pass percentage. I think it was 18 to 26. So
Right.
I couldn't believe how accurate he was. I mean, he was taking a lot of sacks, and that's why I was saying, like, there's 9 sacks. I'm like, man, at least half or more than half were on him. He was just taking so much time, and like you said, just get rid of it. But I was shocked at how accurate he was. It was apparent he could throw the ball well. Like, there was a nice spiral, but man, some of the throw to Barkley was beautiful. And then, Chris, we got to talk about celebration. Maybe as soon as he did.
See that throw? Oh, wait, so
as soon as he did it, I'm like, oh my God, look at this celebration. It's awesome. So
yeah.
That's a fun story, man. It was a
fun
win.
Story from a very bad season, right, Jerry? It's a fun,
right.
Story.
Like something positive, man. Tommy DeVito, so
yeah. And like you said, Jerry, I look back and you're thinking about the game, watching a little bit again, and it wasn't like there was a couple of guys that were wide open. He missed them, Right.
I
don't think there was one guy that was open. Maybe I'm mistaken.
No, I didn't see any like that.
That he said, "Oh God, man, he missed that guy. He was open."
Yeah.
So it's a credit to him, man. Look, he's got to clean up some stuff. Like there was, he's raw. He's just he's just second career star. Like there was one that had a bubble screen to the left and it wasn't there, and he just held on the ball and took the sack. If it's not there, you just throw it at the guy's feet. Just get rid of it. Don't take the sack.
Sure.
There. Yeah. Like he held on to the ball, He's got to understand things like that. And they'll try to clean it up with him. And Dable credits Shea Tierney, the quarterback coach today at the Zoom. He said, what incredible job he did with DeVito. He's a confident kid, dude. I could tell you that from being around him in the locker room. Look, nobody's going to tell Tommy DeVito right now, you don't belong in this league or you don't belong to be a starter. Believe me when I'm telling you. He thinks he should be a starter.
Chris, I believe it.
Yeah, I mean, not in a bad way, but the kid, look, he's got energy. Dable described today, too. He's talking about the energy. He goes, this kid just has energy. The defense loves him. The offense loves him. He brings a burst of energy to this team. He's firing up. He's singing on the field, while they're practicing during the week. He's got that gusto about him, man.
He's got Barkley chanting Jersey after the game's over.
This is awesome. So Barkley was, Barkley doing his, and look, Saquon had 0 yards until the last play of the third quarter, basically entering the fourth quarter. And for people, Barkley is not Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders was a better back than Barkley. Don't get me wrong, right? But Barkley has those Barry Sanders qualities.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Where, Jerry, you remember, dude. I mean, there'll be games Barry Sanders will have -2 yards in the third quarter. No kidding. I'm not kidding. You remember, Jerry.
Yep.
Or 10 yards or 5. And you look at the stats at the end of the game, Barry Sanders, 15 carries, 103 yards. What?
Right.
Because he just ran for 60 or 80 in the fourth quarter because he busted a 30-yard run. He busted a 50-yard run. And next, Barry's got 100 yards. And I remember that so many times with Sanders where he was shut down, wasn't doing, and boom. That's what Barkley has. The one run, 38 yards, 32 yards before the quarter ends. Fourth quarter, busted. What, Jerry?
It was 38. Yeah.
38. Okay, thank you. And one in the fourth quarter, chunk yards and
31, I think.
And he's out of the backfield, and that's Saquon. He's a type of back. He's that special back where we have 8 carries, 0 yards. Boom, he'll wind up at 80 yards, and that's what he did yesterday. He's that type of talent, man.
Yeah. And then, again, I'm happy for him. Like I want him to be here when the Giants win again. It's like I have a very sentimental thing with Barkley. Like he's obviously their best offensive player. He's a real gamer. He had nothing in the first half, and then by the end of the game, I think he had 83 yards or something like that, and I forget how many receiving. But it was just nice to see him get the ball in the passing game. I mean, you've been talking about it for years. Like all joking aside, dude, he's got the. You've said like when Odell was on the team, you're like he may have the best hands on the team, and that includes Odell, right? His hands are that good, and
it's one time they were, yeah.
It's just nice to see that kind of happen now. And I thought the line played okay. I look, with Andrew Thomas, it's a different unit. It's just that you could see it. Even they're not what they were a few weeks ago without him. Like they can function now. And like I said, a lot of those sacks were on DeVito, and they're going against a hell of a front still, even though you got rid of Sweat and Chase Young. You got those two monsters in the middle there. I thought the line played pretty well. Guys like Justin Pugh, again, I don't know what the long-term plans are, but a guy like that only helps this team, right? Like I thought he held up okay. You know, the one guy that seemed to struggle, and it's not like we're picking on him lately, but it's a glaring hole there with Bredesen. You know, and it is what it is right now, I think. But, you know, overall, I thought the line held up, you know?
Yeah, it is what it is, right? As long as they don't blow up the game, they gave us some
Right.
sacks. No question. They gave up pressure, some sacks. I remember Pugh gave up one bad. Bredesen gave up one. Forced, you know, Tommy had to step up. He got clean. You know, he got sacked. Tyree got, you know, this and that. Thomas did well.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, Jerry. Look, this is going to be an upgrade topic for Joe Shane, no question about it. Again, it's going to have to be that interior of the line. Now, Schmitz is going to be there. We know that, right? We expect him to get better. He's been pretty good. Not bad his first year. But once again, in the offseason, you're going to have to look at some guards. What are we doing? You know what
Absolutely.
I mean?
Yeah.
And like Pugh's a great story, but I'm not looking at Pugh in 2024 saying, okay, that's our left guard.
But I think he should be on the team.
I'm really not. But
right.
If he's on the squad, which it might be, I don't know, or even Jerry, even if he happens to be the 2024 starting left guard, I wouldn't have a problem with that. But I just think they should look to upgrade.
Right, and I don't think your plan next year, Chris, can be Josh Azudu's our right guard. I don't think that can be the plan.
I agree.
Right.
So we'll see what happens there. Anyway, especially, you know, you got 2 games against Washington, Dallas. You know, how about the Eagles? You know, I mean, Eagles, those 2 young animals, they're just as good as Payne and Allen going to be down the road. You know what I mean? Those 2 guys, those 2 guys are beasts.
Yes.
That Carter, you know, Carter and Davis are going to be beasts for years.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, Jalen Carter reminds me of like Jerome Brown. It's ridiculous how good he is.
I mean, it's the way that kid is. So that's what you're gonna have to deal with twice a year. So you gotta really, really strengthen that interior line, man. You know.
Yep. Yeah.
So DeVito, 18 to 26. It's amazing. That how, you know, he was even under the pressure, he was still throwing some balls, right? Still throwing some balls, making some big plays. Giants had 8 splash plays yesterday, a season high, man. I mean, usually they come up with 3, 2. 8. Yeah. I was going over this one. I'm like, holy crap! Look at this, you know, which was something you really haven't seen. And I thought it was telling a little bit. I don't think Bobby Okereke meant this, and I'm almost definite because I, you know, getting to know Bobby, he's a class act. But I thought it was
hell of a linebacker too, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No.
Oh
look,
104 tackles already. Oh my god.
Yeah. How about the 2 forced fumbles?
Yeah, right.
You know, it's all part of the package of being a very good linebacker. Forcing fumbles, you know, TFLs, gaps, feeling.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah, no. So, you know, I just thought it was a little telling when Bobby said after the game, he goes, you know what, we knew that, you know, if they struck us, we were going to strike them back. Well, with our offense, you know. And I'm saying to myself, Jerry, I saw Okereke say that, and I was like,
what?
Wow. When was the last time somebody said that on his team? You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And I'm telling you, Jerry, it wasn't meant to be a shot or like, wow, we finally at least we finally moved the ball. Although that's what they're probably thinking. Don't get me wrong, but he didn't mean that like that. He was just saying, you know, hey, it was one of those games where, you know, hey, we felt that they struck us, we're going to strike them back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We struck them, you know, but it was just like, wow, you know, like that. You haven't heard that in the Giants defensive side of the ball.
No, you haven't. No. I'm going to ask you, we're going to take a break. I'm going to ask you a question when I come back. Guys, listen to the Giant Insider podcast with Jerry Foley and Chris Bisignano. Hang on. And we're back. Folks, listen to the Giant Insider podcast with Jerry Foley and Chris. Nobody beats the biz, Bisignano. Why did they open it up so much more yesterday, Chris? Was it just that it's more time for Tommy DeVito to get comfortable? I mean, I know we all were like, how could you not throw it as much as, you know, 8? How could you only throw it 8 times against the Jets? You know, obviously more last week, but you think it's just a matter of DeVito getting more comfortable with the offense at this point?
Well, obviously, yeah. You know, he's been with the ones the last few weeks, and you game plan for your opponent. They felt comfortable enough now. He's been, you know, he's with. Look, if DeVito would have came off the bench yesterday, say Jones started, DeVito came in the second, third quarter because Jones got hurt. He's not going to come in and winging it all over the lot.
Yeah. And
I get the Jets thing, you know, no question about it. I was one of the first ones to say, guys, we got to throw a forward pass here. This is crazy.
Right. Yeah.
But the game plan for Dable, and you could argue it, you know, I didn't specifically agree with it either at times. But that, their game plans when they had the lead, they were not going to blow it by a stupid pass against a team that's very good against the pass.
Yeah.
And I get it. I didn't agree with it either. There was times I felt like you got to throw the ball here. Move the sticks, try to move the sticks because you could end this game. But it is what it is. But now you're a couple more weeks in. You're practicing with the ones. Confidence is growing. And then you're playing a Washington team that's like giving up huge play after huge play all season. And I think they looked at that and said, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're gaining confidence in DeVito. A couple of weeks in here with the ones, and we're going to let them stretch the field here,
Yeah.
And they did, so that's what happened, and DeVito, look, if he would have a couple of ints in the first half, maybe not looking good, not accurate. They might have been throwing it up. Let's get the ball Saquon 30 times here, or safe passes and all that. But confidence. You're calling some plays and DeVito's executing it.
Yeah,
it gives everybody confidence. The offensive coordinator, Dave's, players, everything. So
it's I'm not picking on him. It's the opposite of what is happening with the Jets right now. I mean, like that defense is very good, and when your offense can't score, it's like you almost give up. I know you shouldn't, and I shouldn't say that, but I'm not saying give up, but it's like you're just so like it's so damn deflating when your offense can't do a damn thing. And you're like, we have to shut this team out in order to win, and that's gotta weigh on these guys. I know they're professionals, but right.
Oh, no question, man. It's weighing on the Jets defense, man.
Oh my God.
It's gotta be, because it's like, man, if we give up a touchdown here, we probably when the Bills made it 9-0 yesterday, I'm sure the defense like we lost. Over. We lost.
Same thing. Same thing. Yeah.
That's insanity. That's insanity.
But our defense, I mean, look, Kayvon Thibodeau growing every week, getting better every week. Had besides the sacks, was just really active yesterday, man. You're very noticeable on the field. Like one of those things where if you don't watch football much and you watch the Giants, you're like, who the hell's number 5? That guy's all over the place. Dexter Lawrence, my God, one of the best interior tackles. Okereke active. Like, this defense has a lot to be happy about right now. I mean, Tay Banks had a rough one, but those 3 guys, Micah McFadden, I mean, the how he's growing into his role and getting better and better. And there's stuff to build on with this defense. And I keep saying this, like, I cannot wait till Kayvon Thibodeau has a bookend on the other side. We thought it was going to be Ojulari. Even if he's playing, he's not really doing anything. It's going to be really nice to see what he can do, man, and get better.
Yeah. Watching Aziz yesterday, he didn't look right. He didn't look like he had an explosion in his legs or nothing. I don't know if he's
looks like he's injured or
still
something.
Not 100%. He just doesn't look like himself at all.
Yeah.
But like you said, Thibodeau, man, 10.5 sacks, amazing, right? Second year, 10.5 sacks, and we still got 6 games left. So he's having a very solid second year. I thought Xavier McKinney was excellent yesterday. I thought he played his best game of the year. For sure. I loved how physical he was. And I loved, look, the play at the goal line where he slammed Howell out of bounds. It wasn't Zay's fault. I didn't think the
whistle
didn't blow. They thought it was still a live ball, So,
what's he going to do? I didn't think that was dirty at all.
The referee's got to blow it, man. Come on. Touchdown.
Real quick, that play at the goal line, Tay Banks got a wrap. And Pinnock is getting. I like Jason Pinnock, dude. Don't get me wrong, but he's got to start rapping more. He does that trying to. I don't know if he's hitting with his shoulder or trying to knock the ball out or go for the highlight play tackle. Like, come on, man, rap a bit.
Yeah, look, Tay Banks is a kid that's he's been doing that the last few weeks. Yeah. You better start getting out of that crap because he's a physical kid. He could tackle. Yeah. The last 2 or 3 weeks, and you saw yesterday with how he's just throwing a shoulder in there. That's not.
Yeah, don't do that.
That's not how you tackle, brother.
No.
Get
the other 25 to tell him about it, right?
What was that?
Except get the other 25 to tell him about it.
Watch his tape. That shoulder stuff. He did that again yesterday, and and that's unacceptable, man. And Pinnock the same thing. He'll hit you, but there's times he just throws his shoulder in there, and guys are gonna bounce off that and keep going. You saw that yesterday with him too.
Right. And one was a quarterback. Yeah.
Look, Banks has got to. Tay Banks has got to. He's got to tighten this up a little bit, man. I don't know, if he's hitting a wall, but his technique is getting a little sloppy.
Yeah.
Okay. He got beat bad in the Raider game by a rookie. I know he's a rookie too, but yesterday he gets really sloppy with the technique on the Dotson touchdown.
Yeah.
Way too much room. He's in the end zone, dude.
Yeah.
He's backing up. He's in the end zone 4 yards deep, and he's still giving like a 3-yard cushion.
Right.
Then he looks up. He loses this guy, Dotson. As soon as he looked up and looked at Howell, it was over.
Yep.
So just he's got to tighten up some things. He's a rookie and all that. And, I didn't quite get with his Instagram thing after the game.
That was stupid.
I didn't quite get that at all.
Come on,
calling out McLaurin and Washington.
Yeah. Don't call out Terry McLaurin, please.
And a live stream too, where you got to be very careful because guys are talking behind you too, man. Who knows what the hell they're going to say?
Right.
I mean, if guys don't know he's even recording, what if imagine somebody says something really stupid? Not stupid.
Right.
I mean, said something he thought was private.
Sure.
So I didn't quite get where Tay was going with that after the game. I really don't, especially
I didn't like it.
So
Come on.
I didn't like it. I didn't quite get it.
Yeah.
Before I understand, the Giants weren't that crazy about it either. So I'm sure they're going to have a word. Especially when he gave up 2 touchdowns too. Saying, "Dude, calm down." So
it
was a kid. He's got to learn. You don't be doing that stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then Hawkins, I thought Trey was all right on the other side. I thought he was all right.
Yeah, he's fine.
When Samuel got thrown out in the second quarter with Flott, who I thought Flott was playing a hell of a game until he got thrown out with that fight. They missed Samuel, but
know who else I like, Chris? I don't know if you ever heard of him. The Golden Domer, Nick McLeod.
Yeah. Look, played nice technique, and that they tried to hit him on that long ball and
nice catch.
Track the ball well.
Yeah, he's been good, man. He's been really good.
Yeah, Howell saw Zay break down on the other receiver, and he saw the 1-on-1, and he took a shot, and McLeod was right there, man. So I'm happy for Nick. Great kid. I love Nick. Love Nick in the locker room. Notre Dame kid. We all know that. That's why you brought it up even more so, right? So, I was so happy for Nick, man. I really am. Like you said, Joe, when he's gotten his snaps, he's played pretty decent, man. He's a good special teams player. You look at him and see 2024. Yeah, Nick will be here. Because he
Chris,
plays well
that's what I'm saying.
specials,
I'm looking across the cornerbacks, right? And I was thinking, Banks, Hawkins, Flott, McLeod. If that's what I go in with, I'm okay with it. I'm not saying Hawkins is definitely the answer. Maybe they want to try and upgrade there, but I'm all right with it. That you can do a lot worse than those 4 guys, especially in the slot with Flott. He's been really good. So I don't want to give Darnay Holmes too many compliments. He's had 2 interceptions 2 weeks in a row. It seems like when we start to say he's turned a corner, it does something horrible. But look, it's nice you got a pick yesterday. But those 4, I'm not going to leave Holmes out of it. I think you could do a lot worse.
Yeah. And credit to Darnay, right? I mean, he hasn't played much, and he's ready to play when he gets in there, man. And he's been excellent.
I don't want to give him too much credit because it seems like when we do, he has a horrible game. But you're right. He has been playing well.
He's been excellent on special teams too, man. He's been excellent as a gunner, man. He really has. He's really played well in specials. Yeah. Guy probably won't be here next year, but you know what? Hasn't put his head down when he's been called upon. Yeah. He's got it in. He's played hard. And 2 interceptions, 2 weeks in a row for him. Yeah. And all that. So credit to him, for being ready. Being ready. You never know when your number's going to get called. Yep.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about on the defense before I ask you my next question?
On the defense, no. Look, you mentioned Dexter before. He was dominant again, playing like an all-pro, right? Kurike really playing well. Yeah. Tibbs with a big game, and all that. So I thought Washington, they established a run there a little bit. They were running the ball pretty good at one time. But the Giants got those takeaways, man. They got those turnovers from Washington. Yeah. So that was big.
Yeah. Not more of a question, it's more of a statement. The next 3 weeks are winnable games. I'm not saying they're going to win them. That things can just go just as ugly as they have all season long. But you look at the next 3 weeks, you got the Patriots, the Saints, and the Packers. Especially 2 of those 3 are definitely winnable. It's going to be interesting to see how the Giants come out and play these games, Chris. And say they win all 3. I am not saying anything about it. I'm just saying, the organization's going to feel pretty good about things moving forward with the ability to kind of come back from the disaster that was, at least from a mental standpoint, and then go into next year with draft capital, regardless of what you do. All right, and if you do that, then you're probably out of the Caleb Williams, Drake May sweepstakes, unless you mortgage your future to trade for one of them. But I'm just fascinated to see how this plays out. I know it's one game at a time, but over the next 3 weeks until they play the Eagles. Because I'll be honest with you, Chris, until yesterday, I didn't think the Giants were going to win another game this year. I just thought,
me too. Yeah.
I just thought, well, they're just going to play this. I said 20 more hours or so of Giants football. That's what I was thinking. Like, let's just get through this and then get to the offseason and go from there. But they win yesterday, and it's like, you feel kind of good, right? 6 turnovers, and DeVito is a great story, a guy you can root for. And I mean, look, Tommy DeVito looks like he's at DJ's in Bar A in Belmar on Friday and Saturday nights.
Yeah,
no. Hitting on your girlfriend, and now he's throwing touchdowns for the Giants. So, I'm interested to see how these next 3 weeks play out. That's all, and what the feeling of the organization is, because they got to feel like almost such a relief from Dable and Shane's standpoint that they pulled off a win yesterday. No.
Well, of course, you're there to win. They're there to win. Yeah, absolutely, man. Now they're not going to be fooled by anything either. No. Let an X3 and all that. Look, what DeVito's doing, he's playing to see if he could stay in this league, either with the Giants as backup down the road or another team as a backup. Right. Now, if Tommy comes out and he's winging the ball all over the lot the last 5-6 games, and they're putting points on the board, and you say to yourself, "Oh wow, okay, he's a keeper, he's a backup." He's a backup. And all that stuff. So he's auditioning for the Giants, obviously, and the rest of the league if he's not a Giant next year. Plays solid, Jerry. He's a kid, on a rookie contract, cheap, backup, for whoever the hell the quarterback is, which will probably be Daniel, next year, or we'll see what happens in the draft, So it'll be interesting, like you said.
What I mean by it also is, like, as Thibodeau continues to play well, Dexter Lawrence, it's like there are things to feel good about still with this football team going into next year. And if you can get some wins here, although you're hurting your draft status, whatever, I just think the feel of the organization is so much better than it's almost like 04, Chris, when they won that last game against Dallas, right? It was a disaster of a year with Eli Manning. Then they beat Dallas. And I know it doesn't carry to the next season. I get it, but you feel a little better going into the offseason or something. I do think there is something to it. So I'm curious to see how, if the Giants can compete and these guys can get better and DeVito can do anything. It's just, I'm grasping maybe a bit, but just give us something down the stretch here. That's all. So. Yeah,
look, they're playing teams in their weight class coming up, right?
Right.
Now you're playing a New England team that's a total mess, but they still have some guys on defense, and they're going to have Belichick. And DeVito's going to be like a student in the classroom this week.
I was going to say that, man. We'll get to it later, but yeah, go ahead.
Where the professor is going to try to teach him a lesson, which he usually does with young quarterbacks. DeVito's, he's going to see things Sunday afternoon that he didn't see against Washington. Trust me what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And then Green Bay, and who was it? The Saints, Jerry, after
Saints.
Green Bay?
Yeah. Well, I think the Saints are after. I think the Saints are after the Pats. I think.
No,
you're right.
Monday night game against the Pack. They were bye week and then a Monday night game. Yeah, and then I think it's the Saints, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So teams in their weight class before they play the Eagles and all that stuff. Look, guys are playing. Coaches are looking. See who's improving. If anybody, God forbid, nobody's checking out on this team. They're playing hard.
No. Yeah.
They're playing hard. You saw it yesterday. You saw the excitement of winning a game and all that stuff. And look, and it is what it is where it falls. Now, I think one good thing came out of yesterday's games in the NFL is that Justin Fields looked pretty good.
I know.
So you want Fields to look good because you don't want the Bears that draft a quarterback. Now, you got to remember something too, though, all right? And I get it. Caleb Williams looks like he's real good. Drake May looks like he's real good. But, dude, even if something happens here, if win 4 games, they can't put a package together. We don't know what these kids are going to be, too. So don't have a heart attack because every year it seems like there's always, these 2 can't miss. I remember Goff and Wentz back out. There's so many young guys, Donald. How about the guy, Zach Wilson, 2nd overall? How about that? Mm-hmm. How's that working out?
Trey Lance
got traded. They thought he was the next Montana over there.
Josh Rosen. Yep.
I'm talking about like top, 3, top 1, 2, all that stuff. And what I'm saying is that while these kids look like very excellent prospects, I'm also, I got to be honest with you, I'm also not going to have a heart attack if they don't wind up with one of those 2 kids because let's see what they are first.
Sure.
Because we go through this all the time. Now, that being said, Jerry, if they're in striking range, if they finish third or fourth and they can move up,
Mhm.
or whoever's in front of them, not going to go QB, if Joe has to put a package together and draft one of those kids, yeah, great.
Yeah.
They look like,
Yeah.
they're excellent prospects, especially I was watching Drake May, and I, again, I only saw him like 3 times this year, but you kind of like what he does. And Caleb Williams, we all know about, right?
Yeah.
Everybody seems to know about and all that. So don't get me wrong, but I just don't have a heart attack. And, oh my God, we didn't get one of those 2 kids. Let's see what they do.
Chris, I'll be honest with you. I like a lot of other quarterbacks coming out too. Listen, I'm not a quarterback guru by any means, but there's other guys that are going to go top 10, top 15 that I'm like, you know what? I'll take my chances with one of those, but we'll get to that later. I'll give you 2 more, dude. Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota, 1 and 2. So
how do they work out?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So just don't. I know when the season's over, all you're going to be hearing about is this and that. These 2 kids, Dan Marino and Joe Montana, coming out. Yeah, okay, we'll see. And look, we'll see how Shane, what Shane and his scouts and Dable, how much they love one of these kids, and how much if they're going to be aggressive to move up and draft one. That's down the road, right? But right now it's the Paisan, Tommy DeVito, and we'll see what he could do against New England Sunday. And like you said, Jerry, before the Washington game, you said to yourself, I don't think they're going to win a game the rest of the year. I don't think they're going to win a game, right?
Right.
And now you look, this is how quickly it changes this league. And now you look at it and go, okay, they're probably going to beat New England Sunday. New England might be going with Bailey Zappi, whatever, his name.
Yeah.
I think Mac Jones is the 3rd string now, so they're a team that's literally, Belichick might not even be there next year, So
unbelievable.
They're a mess, right? So
real quick, talk about the Midwest versus the Northeast. How long would you say the Bears have been bad, right? Like it's been a while, right? Pretty long time. Longer than the Giants, you think?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Their owner, before the games, I forgot to tell you this. Their owner walks through the parking lot, McCaskey, and people take pictures with him like he's a rock star. Now, could John Mara do that?
No.
And he's a much better owner, right? No. Like I'm laughing. I'm sitting here talking to these guys going, there's no way the Jets owner or the Giants owner could pull this off in the Northeast. I blew my mind. I mean, people are like, oh, come on over. Good luck. See you later. Yeah. Thanks for everything. Soldier Field is a shit hole, Chris. Right, it's the worst stadium I've ever been to. So there's not much positive. So
it would be. Look, it would be like you could see people saying stuff to Mara if you ever did that. You know what I mean?
So,
there'll be people like, "Hey, John, let's take a picture," and there'll be other people, "Hey, John, you're ruining this," something like that. It's a much different world, man. Midwest,
I couldn't get over it.
Midwest and Northeast is 2 different. It's 2 different planets. As far as fan bases, no question.
Passionate, but just nicer people. That's all.
Yeah. So
anyway.
Yeah, Jerry, you if you go to a St. Louis Cardinal game, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Cardinals maybe have lost 30 in a row and haven't got a hit in 15 straight games, and the fans will still be like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Next guy, you'll get you. Let's go. Let's get in there. We'll get this guy. We'll get this back. We'll win this game. Don't worry about it.
It's so funny you said that because I was at Milwaukee once, and I'm watching the fans, and I'm like, guys, Yankee fans yell at Jeter that he sucks,
right? Yes, I remember they were booing Andy Pettit and stuff. And you got even the Mets, Boston, forget about viciousness up in Boston. I mean, forget it. Before they won World Series, I mean, seriously, the viciousness, you wouldn't even believe it. Dude, the stuff that was coming out of their mouth in Boston, when I used to go up there every summer, it was like, wow,
Yeah.
I'm talking about legends. They pop up in a big spot. What the F? You retire. It was like, holy crap. I'm looking, like, what the F? So it's a different world, different planet, bro. It really is.
Yeah, I forgot to bring that up. It blew my mind. So anyway.
Yeah. So
all right, dude.
It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Giants. Cool. Anything else? Yeah, I'm trying to think of something else. We talked about guys who had good games and all that. Washington the Giants probably sealed Ron Rivera's fate yesterday too. Losing to the 2-8 Giants, that probably sealed his fate.
Absolutely, and rightly so. Rightly so. I mean, you can't lose that game.
Yeah,
they're still in the playoff hunt.
Absolutely, and you make that first time they played, they made that very curious decision when he took the penalty, and the next play, Tyrod hits Darren Waller for a touchdown, and all that stuff. So, look, Jerry, the real interesting thing is going to be coming down the pike with the Giants before we sign off here. Is going to be when Tyrod Taylor's healthy.
Yeah.
What happens then? Like, he's getting better. They're going to
Let
play
the-
New England, and then they're going to go into the bye week, and Tyrod's going to be eligible to come off the IR. If he's healthy, right? If he's ready to go, and all indications seems to be that he's going to be healthy out of that bye right now. What do they do then? That's going to be fascinating.
I think if Tommy DeVito is not a disaster and embarrassing them, I think he continues to play.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with you. I think if
and
it's
if he's like 1 of 10 and like
Mhm.
then okay. But if he can hold his own, he plays.
I did look, and he did yesterday. A lot of things he's got to clean up, but offense move, touchdowns, right? And we'll see if he holds his own against New England and they win it 20-17, whatever the hell it might be. If he holds his own, I think you look at it and go, okay, Tyrod's going to be healthy for that Packer game Monday night, but we're going to stick with DeVito. We like what he's doing, right? That's what I think.
Yep.
He would have to be a disaster against Washington and against New England for to go into that bye week and say, okay, if Tyrod's back, he's our guy.
Right.
Now it's like, now it's like, well, if he plays somewhat decent against Bill Belichick in New England, who's still playing somewhat decent defense over there, they just can't move the ball in New England. That's the problem, Then I think they stick with DeVito too, because Tyrod's not the future here. DeVito could be a backup future.
Sure, absolutely.
Right? He could be the backup future.
Yeah.
So that's the way I think they're going to play it too, man.
Yeah. I think that's how they should play it. So good stuff, dude. All right, guys, we'll come back with a live stream probably Wednesday night. I think Wednesday sound good. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Probably Wednesday.
And we'll talk about the very now winnable game against the Patriots, guys. We'll see. All right, guys. Sundays are Giant days. Take care, everybody.
Take care.